I say to people I'm making a film about Brian Clough,
get back now, keep it down!
they almost invariably smile.
Brian Clough was the first football manager who really explored television.
Today we welcome Brian Clough.
I have his autograph. Clough took up the whole page with an extraordinarily flamboyant signature.
Give it here, come on! Go!
There was no sense that he was crushed by the system. He wanted to beat the system.
We can take this lot, come on!
He wanted to be the best. But he does it all with a cheeky smile, which is very endearing. I read David Peace's book, and it's an extraordinary achievement what David's written. It's authentic, it's powerful, it's surprising, it's Clough like you've never seen him before.
What I kept from the book was the dual time frame, that device of intercutting. And what particularly chimed for me, which isn't a major subplot of the book, is the personal rivalry between Revie and Clough.
Why do I get the feeling this is all about you and Don?
Of course, it's just about me and Don. Always has been.
I decided to construct the whole thing as a sort of marriage and infidelity story.
Very much the underdogs as they face the First Division champions, playing today in their away strip of dark blue shirts and yellow shorts.
He basically wanted to sleep with the wife, as it were, of the person he was most trying to hurt. He wanted to succeed with Leeds in a way that Don Revie hadn't.
Essentially, it's not about football, it's about a man struggling with his demons, a man so talented, so brilliant, but who has his Achilles heel, like many talented people, is himself. You know, he is his own worst enemy.
He's such a rich character that you kind of feel his complexity is inexhaustible. And that makes him perfect for a central character.
Look, it's the Players' Lounge, Brian. 10 minutes.
It was always Michael Sheen. I mean, he was always our choice. He was always the natural fit. And I think he's delivered a performance of a lifetime. It's an astonishing performance. He studied his subject.
Morning, lads! Lovely Yorkshire weather. I tell you, it makes me want to jump on a plane right back to Mallorca.
Apart from the obvious research about Clough himself and his life and all that kind of stuff, I found myself reading about the trickster figure in mythology and cult leaders and all that kind of stuff, so it all kind of feeds in.
Michael could have played professional football, so he not only has the passion for it, but he has the skills for it.
Like to see Don fucking Revie do that, hey?
It was just one of those wonderful fits.
Hello? You asked me to find a player with a good head, experienced. Well, I found one. He's perfect.
When you read the script, Peter Taylor is there, but it's not a big part. And I desperately wanted an actor who could quietly, from the sidelines, slowly build this character up, so you realise by the end how important he is.
When you just study someone, you get a sense of where they're coming from, psychologically. For instance, he's got very quite shy eyes.
We need someone with a good head. Experience.
I know. Our lot were like headless chickens out there today.
He's a thinker, and he's the archetypal assistant.
You've got to tell him to give you the feet, Pete! Take him out wide!
Cole Meany is uncanny as Don Revie.
Well, somebody remarked to me when I said I was going to do this that, and I thought it was a really good remark, that he was a child of the Depression.
I'd like to think I built the club into a family. And there must be sadness when anyone leaves a family.
In order to get on, you had to get education. You had to, be disciplined. You had to be respectful. of your elders and your betters and all that. And I think he really believed all those things.
I do feel that Brian Clough, now I'll not call him Clough, because I'll not take him down like that.
Thank you.
I do believe that he made it more difficult to himself than he need have.
Colm has this great ability to find the humour in a situation without transgressing how real a moment is.
For God's sake, go to sleep, man. Where's your dignity? And don't ring here again.
Jim phoned us up and kind of basically said, I'd like to play the role, so we didn't even have to sort of worry about who would do it. And of course, as soon as he suggested it, we thought Sam Lawson, Jim Broadbent, it's absolutely perfect. I think he's one of our great character actors.
And if it's true that football's all about money, that's the way it's going, well, that suits us chairman just fucking fine. Because we're the ones who've got it.
To have a cast with Michael, Tim, and then Jim Broadbent and Colm, I mean, it's kind of a sort of almost a best of British cast, but it's a fabulous cast. We searched long and hard for the best footballing actors we could. I mean, Stephen Graham, who plays Billy Bremner, played for Liverpool Boys.
You know, he was the heart of the team. He was the engine room. You know, he never backed out of a tackle. He scored quite a few goals.
Start again. The passing isn't fast enough.
In all of the films that I've done, I've been conscious of the fact that if the football doesn't look right, then the whole film can fall flat.
Billy, you'll have it! Billy, you'll have it! Come on, Billy, come on! Come on! Put it! Oh! Fuck's the matter with you? Jesus!
We've gone for things a little bit more, and if that's meant that the day after somebody's hobbling a little bit or whatever, I think you've got to take that and suffer for your art.
Come on! Now, to me! Come on! Come on! Oh!
Hey! 50-50, Norman! You're deaf or what?
Jesus! Good tackle though, mate.
What's the matter with you? You said no 50-50s. What are you going to do about it? Fuck me.
There's one sequence at night in the rain where Leeds are kind of murdering Derby. We wanted to slow the action down so you can see, you know, who's really at fault in the fouls.
You want it to look real. You want it to be real, but obviously you can't hate no one. Well, you try not to anyway.
Brian, good luck in Europe. Peter, good luck in Europe.
Action!
I wanted it to have an incredibly strong sense of social realism.
So we went to look in Leeds to base there, and then we looked all around that kind of area to find any football grounds that haven't been done up.
The nearest ground we could find in the whole country was Chesterfield FC, which is a wonderful ground. I mean, it's still got terraces, it's still got wooden seating. You walk into that ground and you kind of felt already transported to a different era, an era I know for a lot of people who watch Damned Utd, it will be very nostalgic.
Well, the biggest thing we had to do was, which was expensive, was to make the grass look much worse than it was. Because of course the groundsmen are so professional these days and love their pictures to be perfect. And looking at all the archive and the pictures, I mean, it was a mud fest, it was just a disaster. So then we had to get just tons of this fertiliser stuff, and we just paid to put them 3-4 times the amount they would have done. We're all on our hands and knees with our little spades spreading it out, really.
And action!
The biggest challenge of filming football is how on earth you fill the stadium. And so the novel solution we came up with is we used dummy human beings. We hired 2,500 dummies. We dressed them in flat caps and brown and dark grey colours. And the extraordinary thing is, unless you're looking for it, you're never going to question it.
It's 2-0. Leeds have won it now.
Ellen Road, we had to, the biggest thing and the most important thing was to get the sign back up, which had been taken, down years and years ago. So we had that made by a local metal worker. That training pitch at the moment and is now a car park and is used ostensibly as a car park, but we used as much turf as budget would allow. And when that ran out, we just had to paint the gravel green as far as we could and hope it would work. And I haven't seen it yet, but I blooming hope it did work.
Let's all get into this crisply, and people like you see maybe spread a bit so that Michael has a possible eye line through to you.
This is the wonderful scene where it's Brian Clough's first day at work, and he walks up onto the training pitch to tell his players what he's all about.
Make it wider.
I could see Steve. Yeah. I couldn't see Mark. Yeah. So if you can make sure you can see me, and then that means I'll be able to see you as well.
He cannot resist in his very first speech accusing them all of cheating.
You lot may all be internationals and have won all the domestic honours there are to win under Don Revie, but as far as I'm concerned, the first thing you can do for me is to chuck all your medals and all your caps and all your pots and all your pans into the biggest fucking dustbin you can find, because you've never won any of them fairly. You've done it all by bloody cheating.
The face of Ellen Road in the warehouses, within a few years that'll be redeveloped. Chesterfield will be knocked down within a few years. I had this vision of putting a Britain on film that is kind of rapidly disappearing, and that was so key to my vision. It's an intriguing study of, one of Britain's kind of great 20th century icons.
Disappointed not a bit. My players were heroic out there tonight.
You kind of know, he's doomed before he's begun, because if you know enough about what he said about Leeds and what he felt about Leeds, you realise he was very unlikely to go in there and make a great hit out of it.
Here's to happy fucking families.
Either it didn't work because that Leeds team had reached its natural shelf life and Revie knew that and left.
This involves me leaving Leeds United.
It didn't work because of all the many things Clough had said before he went.
They wouldn't have played football that way if they were happy.
It didn't work because the players were ready to work for Clough and respected his record at Derby, but the minute he came, he handled it so unfortunately.
Next player who mentions it, or what he did or didn't bloody do in the good old days, will spend a week cleaning my boots.
It didn't work because he only had 6 weeks.
We have to part company.
Fine, it'll cost you 25 grand.
I just think it was probably a man in the wrong place and knowing probably quite early on that he'd made the wrong decision.
That's it.
In the end, the conclusion is clear that when he was with Taylor, he was great. And when he was without Taylor, as he indeed is in the lead story and part of this film, he wasn't.
No one scouts players like you, Pete. You're the best. We can sort this place out together.
to draw quite a lot of attention to that, as we do in this script, and show what Taylor's particular gifts were and how that partnership worked. You know, that was attractive to me, because Cloughy got all the credit.
You're only going to fuck me up again, aren't you? I love you, you know.
I think anyone interested in, mildly interested in football will be fascinated by Brian Clough. Anyone not interested in football will be fascinated by this great and complex man.